Now, as for our guest tonight, we are joined by a walking, talking, living legend. Absolutely. He has sold more than 250 million records around the world in a career spanning over 6 decades.
It's hard to believe he was the first ever pop star to be knighted by Her Majesty the Queen, and he starred in dozens of movies, including the iconic Summer Holiday.
What a lovely time. And this month he celebrated his 80th birthday. It is the one and only Sir Cliff Richard. Congratulations, Cliff!
Thank you very much.
Oh, Cliff, we are so thrilled that you're in tonight, and may I just say, that blazer is a vision.
That is up your street.
That is a beautiful blazer. So, Cliff, how are you?
Thank you. It's made in China, so who knows how long it'll last.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Are you well, Cliff? You had your birthday?
Absolutely fantastic. I had a great birthday. I'm fit and strong and having a great time at the moment.
Well, looking so well. And we know that you couldn't celebrate with tons of people, obviously, but your fans, well, they didn't let you down, did they?
No, they never let me down. They've been with me right through the years. I mean, remember, I've been going now for, let me see, 4 or 5 years ago, and they've been with me all the time.
Just a couple of years, Sir Cliff. And I've got to ask you this, because, as you can imagine, we have had so many people getting in touch tonight. Jonathan asked, and I just want to ask this one now, he'd like to know, what's the best present you have ever been given?
Funnily enough, I suppose the best gift was my knighthood. But maybe he meant something less than that. One of the best gifts I got was when I was driving myself around in those days, and I could never find the keyhole for the car. And someone sent me one of these, perhaps one of the early ones. It had you could put your key in it, but you pressed a button and a light came on, and I could always find my way into the car.
Well, Cliff, simple things,
So
isn't
a torch, Cliff. You got to send I love it. So, Cliff, we're going to catch up with you so soon. We'll see you in a little while.
We can't wait.
I look forward to it.
Brilliant.
One man.
Well, Cliff is showing no signs of slowing down. We've got loads and loads of them to talk to him about, including his brand new autobiography and his new music later in the show.
And listen, if you do want to get in touch, you're going to have to be quick, because I think we've already had about 1 million comments on one Instagram today. So if you want to share your favourite memory of him, get in touch with us. Do it in all the usual ways, along with any other comments you've got.
Well, everybody, here we go.
Here we go.
Sir Cliff is with us.
He's here, everyone.
In the studio.
Thank you, thank you.
It's so nice to have you, and thank you for coming in person as well.
Oh, no, you're kidding. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's good to have you. So, to celebrate your 80th, we talked about that earlier, and 60 years, can we believe it? More like 6.
Well, actually, it's 62 years.
62
yeah, I
years
know.
in the music
62.
industry.
I mean, I never thought that I'd get to be 50 years old, let alone have a career that was 62 years. But it was just one of those things that happened, and I'm one of the lucky ones, really, that survived. Not only the years, I had to survive some phenomenal competition, and some of that competition is still there.
Well, you've come through and you've written an autobiography all about it. Looking back at that time, it's called Dreamer. And I mean, you could not have dreamed that you would have a career. I mean, as you said, this long and this illustrious.
It's kind of beyond the dreams, really. But what happened was that I had dreams for things I wanted to do, and where I was lucky was that those dreams came true. I didn't just dream to be like Elvis. I used to dream that when I woke up, I was Elvis. But, of course, no one was going to be Elvis. He's the king and the first one. But what he did was he filled a whole bunch of us with the ambition to be like him. And just a few of us got lucky, and I was one of those few people.
Well, I mean, you talk about Elvis, and we know how much of an influence he was on your career, like personal, professional, and how you worked. But let's go right back, because this is you performing Move It. This was your debut single. Now, we have to just appreciate not just Elvis, but someone else who is very, very high in the industry said that this song was the original British rock and roll song. Can you remember who that was?
Well, I can remember somebody saying something wonderful about it, and he happened to be one of the Beatles.
That's the one!
That's right,
What John Lennon, God bless him, said was that before Cliff and Move It, there was really nothing worth listening to in Britain.
Wow.
And I've always loved that, because sometimes the press that talk to me nowadays say, you know, what's it feel like? You know, you're not really cool anymore. And I kept...
I would have walked out of that interview.
I say to them, well, John Lennon thought I was pretty damn cool. So,
that shut him up.
I always think cool is a funny word, actually, but I know what people are trying to say. But for me, the people that are really the coolest are the ones that are the most successful.
Yeah.
And I've had success, so I keep saying to myself, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You are. So, Cliff, you're cool.
And you know, rock stars have all got cool names. How did you come up... Well, before today, I didn't even realise it wasn't your real name, but how did you come up with Cliff Richard?
Well, because when I first started, I played... My band, three of us, used to play at the Two Eyes Coffee Bar in Soho. And nobody found us there, but two people did. Somebody called Jan Vane, who wanted to start a fan club, and we fell off the floor laughing. But she said, seriously, and she ended up by running one of the biggest fan clubs in Britain. And the other guy, it was a guy who offered us a job up north in Ripley in Derbyshire. He had a ballroom up there, and he wanted us to come up by train and sing one night. And I think he paid us £25. I'm not quite sure how much it cost to get up there, but we got up there. And he said, OK, I'm going to put the posters up, Harry Webb and the Drifters. And I said, well, no, we're just the Drifters. He said, no, if you're coming to my place, it's got to be because it was Elvis and this, and Buddy Holly and the Crickets. And so we went to a pub and sat down thinking of names, and the last combination was Russ Clifford.
OK.
And I said, I didn't like that. They said, what about Cliff Russell? I went, Cliff, Rockface. I got that. Somebody changed it to Richards with an S on the end. And the guy that wrote Move It for me, my guitarist at that stage, he wrote Move It. He's the one that said, take the S off Richards. You've now got two Christian names, and they're bound to get it wrong. When you do an interview, they're going to call you Cliff Richards. You can correct them, and that means they've had to use the name twice.
I loved it. We never knew.
No,
we never knew. Obviously, because we've always known you as Cliff Richard.
It's better than Harry Webb, isn't it?
Oh, listen, we're taking Harry Webb on a Wednesday.
we wouldn't mind.
We would. Well, listen, Cliff, we know you've had such an incredible career, but we also know that you've touched many people's lives with your music and your career. And do you know what? We wanted to put a little something together for you to say thank you. So take a little look at this.
OK.
Happy 80th birthday, Cliff.
Just love the rock and roll.
His early stuff was the best for me. When I first went to school at Cheshunt, I was in the 3rd year, he was in the 5th year. I can remember him doing a show at the school. Ever since then, I've been a fan.
Got to do my best to please her.
When I first heard Cliff on the television on Oh Boy, and thought, hello, what have we got here?
Darling, we're the young one.
As he got more and more famous, that's when he went to the London Palladium, and I went every week and sat in the front row so that he could see me and I could see him. I put my tape recorder in a handbag, and when the show started, I pushed the start button, and there we are, just for nostalgia.
She's a devil woman. Beware the devil woman, she's gonna get you.
I was a line judge, and someone came in and said, Cliff's about to sing on Centre Court. I ran out by the Royal Box.
All going on a summer holiday.
There he was on his own, except for one rather bemused service lady.
So no bigger hunk can steal her away from you.
Oh, I just loved it.
He's well known around here because obviously part of Cheshire he comes from, and he's just such a nice bloke.
He was born in India, Lucknow. His acting was really good, good-looking, handsome guy. His films were great.
On the beach, you can dance to a rock and roll.
He just appeals to so many different ages and different tastes that he's going to go on forever, isn't it?
Being up in the circle at the Eurovision Song Contest was really special, and he sung Congratulations.
Congratulations.
His performance was brilliant. Unfortunately, Cliff lost by 1 point, but Congratulations was a huge hit.
It's so funny
How we don't talk anymore. That was a great song.
My husband, my ex-husband, looks like Cliff Richard. Yeah, it's true.
I was with Cliff as a backing singer. We made some great records.
many times. I can tell you.
Miss You Nights with Cliff was a special moment in my life because at the end of the recording, I said, can you just take musicians out of this, just leave the vocals, and when we played it back, it blew everyone away.
But these Miss You Nights are the longest.
Very good looking. Yep. Back in the day. And I can't believe he's coming up to 80.
Happy birthday, Cliff. Keep on moving it.
I feel so ecstatic.
80th birthday, Cliff.
I'm 79, I don't look too bad. So maybe that's the secret. Work with Cliff.
We love you.
Oh, Cliff. Yeah, honestly, so many people, and that we had to cut that down because so many people wanted to send.
Well,
some
Tony
messages.
Rivers is one of the most brilliant people at doing harmonies. He thinks in harmonies. And, of course, that really appeals to me. I've already talked to him, actually. One day, maybe I'll do an album of Everly Brothers songs, and I've said to him, can you come and get the harmonies right for me?
Because he will know.
Oh, he dreams in harmony.
Well, you talk about albums. So, Cliff, I don't think me or Alex, on any show that we've ever worked on, are going to get to say this again. You just released your 105th album.
Well, they're not all studio albums, though.
Oh, don't worry about that. It's a big number, Cliff.
It's still 105.
Yeah, I know, it is. You're absolutely right, and I deserve all the success I get.
Tell us a little bit about the album.
Oh, the new album, well, it's a mixture of stuff. I normally do an album, and there's definitely a pop rock album, and of course I like ups and downs on an album, but this one we found that I had recorded 5 duets with people that I had not used the records. So we thought, okay, if we do that, and I have 5 versions of well-known songs and 2 new ones, that's your 12 tracks. Yeah. So we went ahead and did it. My recording of the new songs was a little difficult because it was done Zooming. My producer was in LA. I was in New York, and I could see him on the screen, and I'd sing it through, and he'd say, OK, hold on a minute, do you mind going back and doing that second verse again and try it like this? And sometimes you need that kind of help.
Someone there, yeah.
So and in the end, it turned out fine. So I was a little bit scared, but it turned out absolutely well. Zooming is OK.
It's unbelievable. Well, we've got to get on to some of our viewer questions because the system, well, it's gone into meltdown, Cliff.
It really has.
So here we go, right? We'll do quick fire, right? Anthony would like to know, of all of your songs, which is your favourite?
I've been given so many good songs. I think We Don't Talk Anymore is one of the best pop songs ever.
Yeah, we love that one.
Devil Woman probably would pip that in terms of my favourite, but it wasn't as big as a hit as that. And the other one was Miss Unites, which is like...
Oh, yes.
It's like singing honey. It's just wonderful. And, of course, you know, people like me... and in those days I used to write, but then I slowly pulled away from writing because I liked performing. We rely on being given great songs. And, I mean, I can't think of anything other than saying I have been really lucky to get given those songs to sing. I am shocked that there hasn't been a new version of We Don't Talk Anymore.
Well, I'll do it if you want, Cliff.
Here we go.
You know,
just,
I can try.
Just give him the jacket and he'll do it for you.
This could be my 80th birthday present to you. Let's say that. Hannah's been in touch as well, Cliff, and she says, how do you keep on track and where does your inspiration come from? What advice can you give her? Because she's just starting out in music herself.
I think I can only quote my dad. My dad recognised that I was really focused on this. From the moment I heard Elvis, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't think this far ahead. So I think what my dad said to me, you really want to do this? And I said, yeah, I really want to do this. He said, OK, from now on, you're going to have to do it to the best of your ability every time you move into something. And I've tried to keep that in my head, that whatever... OK, sometimes you're going to fail. You know, you can't expect to be #1 in the charts all the time. I'd love that if I could. But sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. But you still aim to be the best best that you can be. So that's the best advice I can give anybody, really. Just be sure you want to do this and then go for it.
And do it wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Well, Jen has got in touch saying, today is my mum and dad's 49th wedding anniversary. My mum has been a huge fan of Cliff since he started in summer holidays. She always wanted to be Una Stubbs, so there you are. Please could Cliff wish them a happy anniversary. Their names are Billy and Jean. We've got a picture on their wedding day and a picture now, like 49 years later.
Not my girl.
Billy and Jean.
Billy and Jean will have a fantastic time. I mean, 49 years is pretty good. I'm looking forward to your diamond, which gets close to my 62 years in show business. But I hope you have a fantastic time with friends and family and people that love you.
Oh, that's can we just say, it's a Cliff, everyone.
I know.
What an absolute night. His brand new autobiography, The Dreamer, is out tomorrow, and his album Music, The Air That I Breathe, comes out on Friday. So, Cliff, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so glad you mentioned the album title, because I forgot to.
We'll do it.
Perfect.
I'm going to be back on BBC Two tomorrow for Strictly It Takes Two at 6:30. Who you got tomorrow?
I'll be here with Alex Scott.
Couple
two
of
Alexes.
Alexes.
We've got Stephen Fry and Sophie Ellis-Bextor. We love her. We will see you then. Have a lovely evening, and again, thank you.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Oh.